Entrepreneur MBA podcast purpose is to help existing business owners grow their companies past the $10 million in revenue per year benchmark. Here is your host, Stephen Halasnik.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Stephen Halasnik, and I am co-founder of Financing Solutions. Over the last 25 years, I've built 6 companies in the $5 million to $25 million range. And I can't tell you how important it is for businesses to have a line of credit so they can make an investment in their business or even for unexpected emergencies. Our line of credit program is easy to get in place, inexpensive when used, and costs nothing to set up, making it a great cash backup plan. If you would like to learn more about our line of credit program, please visit us at fscreditline.com. Again, that's FS as in Financing Solutions, creditline.com. Or give us a call at 862-207-4118. If you apply today, we'll even give you a $250 credit on file that you can use when you actually use your line of credit. Just remember, the time to set up a line of credit is when you don't need it, so that when you do need it, it is ready to go. And I can tell you from personal experience of 25 years, having a line of credit in place has saved my butt a couple times, and also let me sleep better at night. So today I am very excited to be speaking with Marco Torres from marketingboost.com. Marco is the founder of marketingboost.com. He has helped thousands of business owners worldwide boost sales and scale their businesses by as much as 5-fold through the use of incentive-based marketing. He teaches entrepreneurs how to source sales and marketing through the use of value-added incentives instead of discounts. His Facebook group is home to more than 27,000 active business owners who are raking in sales with his advice and amazing affordable subscription program. Marco, welcome to today's Entrepreneur MBA podcast.
Hello, MBA podcast. Hey, Stephen, thanks for having me. I'm super thrilled and honored to be invited on your show. And I look forward to this conversation. Thank you.
Yeah, there are, whenever we have guests that come on, there are certain ones. I think everyone are they're a lot of fun. That's why I do the podcast. I just really, really enjoy talking to people. I really enjoy learning. And there are certain topics that when I see that that's what we're going to be doing for the day, I'm like, I get excited about. And this one is one because I just, knowing how to price your product or service, knowing how to incentivize prospects or clients, it's not easy for a small business to do that, is it?
No, it isn't. And right now, unlike probably any other time in the world, there's more home-based businesses, online entrepreneurs than ever. I guess in a way, thanks to to COVID, many of us anyway, have said, now's the time to kick the job and get in business for ourselves and launch your whatever it is your dream was to build a business. And so now comes all the headaches that go with that. I mean, it's a thrill. It's exciting to be in business for yourself. It's also very scary and challenging. And, like you said, you better have that credit line so that you could get through the ups and downs of launching your business, pricing it right, and so forth. Yes.
Yeah, today's topic is stop discounting and instead use value-added incentives. And from my experience, a lot of the smaller business out there, when I talk about small businesses, to me, that's under 10 million. Okay. We're not talking about $100,000 business here. We're talking about, $1 million a year business, a $3 million a year business. My experience what I've seen is that business owners don't charge enough. That's my experience because, everyone thinks, oh, well, I need to get more sales. And so, they think that they need to compete with their competitors based on price. And to me, I've always been the complete opposite. I've been always wanting to charge a lot more in my competition and just do better on the service or quality standpoint. Is that something that you would agree with?
Absolutely. That's one of definitely the biggest challenges that people don't realize. Discounting can literally almost put you out of business. Let me give you an example. let's suppose your product line, let's say, for $1,000 in sales, you've got a 20%, net profit. So out of each $1,000 in sales, you're generating a $200 profit, for example. And now you get the bright idea from your marketing department that you need to lower the price to compete with somebody else. And so you discount a 10%, discount offer. And so now with the same sales, for example, you've generated now instead of for each sale, you're generating $900. You're offering that 10% discount. So now your net profit is only $100 instead of $200. So in order to end up in the same place at the end of the day with the same profit margin, you need to generate almost double the sales. You need to be at $1,800 in revenue to earn the same $200 profit. So one small 10% discount can end up meaning you need to almost be at double your sales volume to end up in the same place you were before discounting.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of you. Well, the first thing I want to say is I love where you started because the number one thing that I think you notice in good business owners is they know their numbers. So right now, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't know what your gross profit margin is, and you don't know, certainly it's obvious you should know what your net profit is. You should know what your revenue is. But on another note is you should know what your industry average is for what gross profit margin your competitors are charging.
Exactly.
Right?
No,
I mean,
exactly.
if you don't know that, that's the number one thing you should write down right now, that you have to kind of figure that out. Because you might be really undercharging. You might be overcharging, which is, that's
which is okay if you're getting the money.
yeah. I would much rather you overcharge. I mean, because
Right.
then you really got to deliver on service or quality or something like that, and that's a better business. If you're out there trying to compete based on price, you're going to lose.
Absolutely.
So before we get like really into the nuts and bolts about this topic, let's go over two definitions, okay? Because there in today's topic is stop discounting and instead use value added incentives. Okay, first thing is when you talk about discounting, tell me what you mean by that.
Well, as we've been referring to, we find ourselves competing. It's very hard to stand out from the crowd these days. There's no matter what you're doing, you're likely competing with somebody. As a matter of fact, if you don't have competitors, then you likely don't have a very small audience. So, having when you're building a business, you're likely competing against others, and so then it's a matter of, are you trying to to stand out from the crowd, with your unique offering, your unique proposition, or are you, just trying to do exactly as your competitors do and try to do it for, 10, 20, 30% less than they do? And of course, that is a recipe for possible disaster unless you can still be substantially profitable with discounting. But when you start discounting, before you know it, they're discounting as well, and then everybody's discounting down to zero profit, and it doesn't really move the needle. In the end of the day, we're all in business to make money and have a profit versus trying to make it up with more volume.
So when we talk about value added incentives, tell us what you mean by that.
Cool. Well, what I've done with a company called marketingboost.com is we've created a unique model. We've disrupted the entire industry for the incentive-based industry, and we provide travel incentive certificates for complimentary hotel stays in over 125 destinations around the world. We provide hotel savings cards in increments or cash credits of $100, $200, $300, and $500 in cash credit savings compared to the retailers of the world like Expedia's, etc. And then we provide restaurant savings vouchers as well. So the idea being is that with our subscription model, the incentive business is not brand new. There's plenty of competitors that we're up against as well. But what we've done is created a subscription model, making it incredibly affordable for small, medium, or large size businesses to be able to offer incentives to their clients with their call to action. So you could use these complimentary trips that are typically, many of our competitors, they sell these certificates individually, so you're buying onesies, twosies at a time, and you're paying a premium for it. With our business model, it's a subscription plan, and it gives you unlimited of your choice of these three types of incentives that I mentioned that you can use for lead generation, for loyalty programs, for referral generation, for closing tools to buy today, for upsells. In other words, you bought product A and get this incentive. If you upgrade today and buy product B to go with product A, we'll throw in this complimentary hotel stay and then these hotel stays, these complimentary trips, for example, they're 125 sexy destinations around the world. 125 of them places like Las Vegas, Orlando, New York, Myrtle Beach, San Diego, 5 nights in Cancun, 5 nights in Hawaii, 7 nights in Phuket, Thailand, 4 nights in Bali. So there's all sorts of options that really can help create a value add to your offer instead of discounting.
So give me an example of your best client or one of your best clients. Tell us a little bit about, you don't have to give me their names. Tell us about how they use what you're talking about.
Sure. For example, I've got a client that offers they have a subscription model for a tips and financial tips on when to buy and sell Bitcoin, when to buy and sell all the stocks and this, that, and the other. He charges $97 a month and has thousands of members that pay him a $100 a month fee, and they've got a team of experts that are analyzing everything and shooting up the tips of when to take advantage of this, that, and the other. And his members were paying $97 a month, and then he did a campaign to get people to go from the monthly to prepay him for a 6-month plan or a 12-month plan. And so he would take his monthly subscribers and turn them into an annual paid. And instead of discounting the price dramatically, he offered the Hawaii trips and the Cancun trips. If you paid the 12 months in advance, you got a 5-night trip to Hawaii. If you paid 6 months in advance, you got a 3-night trip to Las Vegas. And in one campaign, in 1 week, now he does this on a monthly basis for all new subscribers that come on board. But when he first launched the campaign, for example, he did nearly $1 million in upgrading folks from the monthly plan to the annual prepaid plans by including the incentive with his call to action. So in other words, he gave him a reason. What's the big, why would I want to go ahead and pay this for 12 months in advance at $1,200 versus $97 a month? Well, boom, here's the carrot that he dangled, and boom, he blew it up. I've got clients that have grown their Facebook groups. I mean, a lot of business owners, one way to build your audience and build your evangelist crowd is to have a Facebook group and nurture that group and monetize the group. And I've got many people that have built Facebook groups to high as over 100,000 people using the incentives in a viral format. So they're saying, invite your friends to this Facebook group, and you invite 20 or more people, you get a chance to win one of these complimentary vacations. And again, it turned it into viral. They grow their Facebook groups to huge numbers, and then they can monetize that group by showing that they are the expert in their field. They can then, deliver content, deliver quality, and end up, throwing calls to action within that Facebook group, for example. I've got retailers, product retailers. I've got a guy who sells GPS devices for fleets of vehicles and cars, so you can, plug it in, know where your teenagers are at, for example. And he includes the complimentary hotel stay when you buy more than one device. So it helps, boom. If you're buying one device, it's X amount of dollars. But if you add on a second device for your second car or toy or RV or whatever it is, to keep an eye on where your toys are at all times with the GPS device, then, boom, he throws in a complimentary hotel stay and his numbers have grown through the roof. So, I mean, we've got literally thousands of case studies around the world because our product line is so affordable that we literally have thousands of clients using Marketing Boost around the world. So we've got clients in about 37 countries around the world using our Marketing Boost incentives.
So, what do you think the psychology is of getting an incentive-based discount versus just discounting the product? Tell me from a psychology standpoint what you think the difference is.
That's a great question, and thanks for asking. There actually is many studies, psychological studies on pricing discounts, and I don't have the specifics in front of me right now, but there's studies that show that prospects or clients are more inclined to, for example, they prefer a BOGO, a buy one get one free, than they do 50% off. The idea of something of value added to the offer makes them feel, there's something about it, makes them feel special, especially if you can create it where there's urgency and scarcity involved, and then create this reason to take action now. But better than a discount, offering additional, well, depending upon what you do, whether you use Marketing Boost products or not, creating incentives even with your own products, like, for example, throwing in additional courses or additional units, additional product is often better than just discounting the price, making me feel like I'm going to get more from you than I would if I went elsewhere, and especially if I do it now. So creating that urgency and scarcity to take action today is going to give you an extra unit. You're going to get the buy one get one, or you're going to get the, if I'm buying XYZ, you get a discount if you add on, this product or that product. I mean, that's one reason why you see so often when you go to shopping in retail malls and stores, they really target, I think women really grab on to the sale price today. They love the coupons. They love to get something extra. And, but again, there's psychology shows that literally they prefer to have more included than 50% off, for example, or a buy one, get one, for example.
Yeah, I think that the product that you sell or the service that you provide really dictates if this works or not. Is that fair?
I'm not sure I understood the question. The product itself would dictate whether this type of incentive would work?
Yes.
Well, I've seen it be used in all different types of products, whether it's high ticket sales items, or actually it works better with high ticket sales items than very, very low cost items, because if you're including a complimentary trip for a $39 product, then it sounds too good to be true. And so if it is a higher end ticket, for come in and test drive a vehicle, or actually buy the vehicle and get your complimentary hotel stay, for example, it's much more of a believable bonus than it is with, just sign up for my newsletter and get a complimentary trip. So essentially what we provide is the best ever client grabbing magnet, but, instead of discounting, but it does take some creative testing to see exactly which way the incentives are going to work in your sales funnel process in order to make them work properly. That's why one reason I always train and teach my clients, use micro incentives for micro calls to action. So, for example, the hotel savings card with $100 hotel savings is something you could give away with a small ticket item. And the higher the ticket item, the more, then you can give away the $500 hotel savings card or the complimentary hotel stay. Just joining your newsletter, a lead generation program might be using the restaurant incentive. Join our newsletter today and you're going to get a $100 restaurant savings voucher. And that works kind of like restaurant.com. You're getting a coupon so when you select restaurants within your zip code, it's an app that's downloaded, and then they can get see all of the options that are available, over 100,000 options in all over the U.S. and Canada for the restaurant vouchers, for example. So these are often, almost any business can be using them for contests, for sweepstakes, for lead generation, and then put them into, what I call drip campaigns. Once you're capturing the leads, you're putting them into an email, text message, drip campaign, educating them on your product or service, and eventually moving them from prospect down to a paid client.
Yeah, I like what you said about testing, and that doesn't hurt anything. When you can segregate some of your prospects that are coming in and say, okay, we're going to use this incentive campaign on this 50%, and we're not going to do anything with this 50%. Or you might do 33.3% of our clients, prospects will discount with cash, we'll discount it. The other 1/3, we won't do any discounting. And then the other 1/3 will provide this incentive-based model that you're talking about as well. And then see what the results come out. That's a professional way to do it, don't you think?
Absolutely. A/B testing is something that we always recommend, and test it that way. And that way, not only when you figure out, do they bite more often with an incentive, and then it might be, okay, now let's change and start changing and testing different incentives and see which ones are grabbing more, if the incentive is working to boost up the sales in the first place, or your lead generation, or what have you. So yeah, definitely A/B testing is a great idea. And today's world, there's lots of automation tools to make that happen. So that is one thing. We do offer that as well. We do have a complete CRM platform as an upgrade that we do guide our clients to move into a complete system for sales funnel automation, the incentives going out automated, A/B testing, email, text, and so forth. So, but there's a lot of products like that out there, but at the end of the day, you better be automated in today's world as much as possible, and do as much A/B testing as possible to stay relevant and stay current with what's going on.
Yeah, one of the things I've seen a long time ago in the past is when the person who is making the decision about what they're buying. I've been in B2B, so business to business. I've never been in B2C. And I've never been in retail, so it's definitely something that's quite a bit different. But it's different when you have someone making a decision to buy something that doesn't own the company, and yet if you can give them something that incentivizes them, that's something that they get, right? They're more likely to go with your product, right? Because
Exactly.
they benefit. So if they get a 3-day stay at a hotel and their companies that they work for is using the product, I mean, there might be some ethical things that company might say about that, but we all know that people are doing that type of work. If you could, so I guess the point being is to really, really understand why your clients are buying, what's their titles. That's a B2B model, what your competition is offering, to really try to get inside of somebody's head. How do you think you'd go about doing that better?
Well, great question again. And the high ticket items, or the when you're going B2B, you're obviously sometimes have a longer decision cycle. The today only offer is not going to necessarily work in today's world of B2B. They're looking at competitors, they're looking at different products. You've got to do your normal, your process and your follow up, and in that process, is when sooner or later, you could plug in, by the way, we are running this promotion this month, and or this week. And if you guys were to pull the trigger on this particular offer that we could put together for your company and provide you with all of this product and this services, then here's what I'm, able to do. We were running the special promotion right now. So if you were to go ahead and pull the trigger on this decision, I can throw in a complimentary 5-night stay in Cancun. Now, I'll give you a little, for example, how these work. First, let me back up, if you'll let me, and tell you the history of how I got into offering this business. Does that make sense?
Please.
So we launched this going back now to 2017. And the reason, I've been in the travel business since 1993. And I've been a marketer, sales and marketing since, early age. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 9 years old. But as a professional, I've done over $1 billion in sales between the different companies that I've managed sales and marketing for over the 25 years of my sales and marketing career. And when we launched a travel business called bookvip.com, marketing resorts around the world. And early on in 2008, 2009, when we launched, we were getting some negative reviews outside of our control. And Google always puts negative reviews right up on top. So we own multiple travel sites today, but that's how we put this thing together. But in the early days of these reviews, Google would put them right up on front, right up on top, and nothing you could do about them to, really negatively affecting business. So what we started to do is offer our clients, hey, if you would give us a review from the resort and do a selfie video review from the beach, from the pool, from the, one of the nicer areas of the property, we would and brag about the hotel, brag about our travel site. We'll give you a complimentary hotel stay. And with it, we created our own incentive product, and that took off like wildfire. Before we knew it, we had, today we've got over 35,000 video testimonials from happy clients that have visited all the resorts we have all over the world. And of course, we leverage those video testimonials on our website everywhere. So when you're looking at our offers, you're seeing the video testimonials, and we have more than any other travel site in the world. And that essentially has helped us blow up sales, where we traveled over 1 million people to date. And that helped us. Once we did that, we realized this would be a really strong business idea to give to other entrepreneurs all over the world. And so that's how it was born. And then because of that, we do this high volume hotel stays all over the world. We were able to negotiate with resorts and hotels around the world to participate with us, where we help them fill what would otherwise be empty rooms. So what a lot of people ask when they see or hear about marketing booths is like, how can they do this? How does it work? How can they possibly give away these complimentary hotel stays? And so what we do is we help hotels fill what would otherwise be empty rooms. Typically, any hotel anywhere has got at least rarely over a 70% occupancy rate. So there's 30% of the rooms most of the nights of the year that go empty. And the most expensive room for any hotel is the room that went empty. Once midnight hits, they'll never rent that room again. That revenue's gone forever. So they have the same costs, same mortgage payments, same employees, whether they rented that room or not. So we work with them to help them fill those rooms with a person who's basically getting a free room other than paying the taxes and fees, which is part of how the certificate works. So the client who receives the certificate or the member can pay for the government taxes and fees. Uncle Sam's always going to have their hand out, or for that matter, any country in the world, the government's going to get their taxes for that room regardless. So those are paid, but the hotel stay is free. But the hotel wins because they get somebody in the property who's likely going to book extra nights, who's going to eat at the restaurant, spend money at the casino, the bars, the spa, the gym, whatever, all the different services they might have, rent the jet ski on the beach, whatever. All those additional services are going to generate revenue from. And they're also going to get positive reviews. They're going to get referrals. They're going to get clients coming back, paying full normal price second time around. So they benefit from it. The client wins with a complimentary stay, and the business owner wins by being able to provide these high value certificates to generate new leads, new clients, et cetera. So it's a win-win-win for all. And with that said, one of the biggest things that I always also recommend to business owners is using the incentives to help generate reviews, because if you don't have a ton of positive reviews coming in on a consistent basis, then you that can definitely hurt, because most people, the only time they make a review is when they're not happy. So when they're not happy, they're posting a negative review. Those are going to sit right up on top, affecting anybody else considering doing business with you. So when you're selling that high ticket item or any price tag product, you can what I recommend is do a survey right after quickly after they've bought it or after they've used the product. Said, hey, how are we doing? How are we living up to your expectations on a scale of 1 to 5? Where do we stand? 5 being great, 1 being low. They give you a 5, then you say, tell you what, if you'd post a review on this site or this site or this site, we actually teach people to throttle do the survey. If they're happy, you're going to send them a link to give you a positive review, and possibly throw in an incentive if they do a video review, for example, versus just a text, a written review, and then you're throttling those incentives. I mean, you're throttling those reviews where you need them to control and manage your reputation. Home run that works for dozens and dozens of my clients that are doing it, and it's worked for our own travel sites and what have you. So that's another way to use the incentives, is to follow up with your clients. And if they're not happy, you need to know about it so you can jump on it, fix it, make them happy, and then, ask for a review after you solve the problem.
Yeah, when I first started my career for the first 8.5 years, I was working for Xerox. And Xerox, to those who don't know, Xerox was the Google of its day. Right. It was like really one of the best companies that was out there. It had really very, very high quality people working there. And so part of how you were compensated at the end of the year, your performance review in the positions I was in was based on the reviews that your clients surveys. They didn't have reviews back then, but surveys. And so one of the things that you had learned is, you want to get ahead of the game before somebody, of course, this is obvious. You want to get ahead of the game before someone gives you a bad survey. But the other thing you learned was, you want to get people who are really happy with you to fill out your survey. Because if you have, 99 good surveys and, reviews, and you have one bad review, well, it averages out to be so much more higher. But we all know that the people who fill out the reviews that are unhappy are much higher than the people who don't fill it out. So, adding on to what you're saying here, Marco, is that, one of the things that we do at Financing Solutions is, we go out and ask clients, if you would rate us as a 5-star, could you please write a review for us? But we say, if you would write us as a 5-star. Then we also say, if you don't rate us as a 5-star, please call me and let me know how we can do better. Right?
Exactly.
And it kind of stops them from, listen, the fact of the matter is, I don't have any, and I'm not exaggerating. In 11 years that we've been in business, I haven't had one client who's been unhappy. We do all the right things. We're upfront with everybody. We really accommodate. And I'm not trying to sell my company. I don't need to do that. I'm just saying is that, if I did nothing, we wouldn't get any reviews.
Even though you have everybody, as you say,
happy, right? So once a quarter, I kind of go back out to clients and I say, can you please give us a review if it's going to be a 5-star, And I do that on a product. And one of the reasons why I do that is, I think it, on a more technical level, certainly in the business I am, people want trust. And so they need to know that, we're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and then 5-star rated on Google reviews and on BBB. But the other reason is, I think one of the 200 factors that Google SEO, search engine optimization, looks at is your Google review. And so the more reviews that you have, the higher rating you will get for search engine optimization for natural searches. And so, if you have a lot of reviews, I think that tells Google that now, is it a big deal out of the 200 things they look at? No, I don't think so, but it's a part of it, and it's something you can control. So that's one of the things that we do. We reach out to clients and say, hey, can you give us a review? Because we know that clients are happy out there. So.
No, absolutely, and you do need to nudge and and encourage and maybe even incentivize them to put out, to publish that review, and especially if you're going to ask them to do it in, maybe even multiple places. That's where the incentive can come in. Hey, you said you were happy. I would really appreciate it. We would really love it and appreciate it if you would post that review here on the BBB and on trustpilot.com and SiteJabber. And if you did all three, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to give you this, hotel savings card just as a thank you. And, and again, I would recommend it, like you do, if you're happy, then I'm going to send you the links to these reviews. And if you're not happy, please let us know. Call me immediately. We want to fix it. And you're giving them an outlet to, if they do have a complaint, you want to let them have that outlet they can contact you or they can reach back out to you. And they have a place to vent. And therefore, there's no need to go online and start posting negative reviews about you. And on the other hand, if they're happy, and most, are, but happy people don't go about finding places to tell, to let everybody else know about it without encouragement, or at least without asking for it. And if you ask, you will receive, with incentive or not. If you just ask, people will be like, sure, you guys did great. Let me go post a review. But if you're asking them to do a bit more, like maybe post a video, product review or what have you, that's more work. Geez, why you want me to actually selfie of opening this pack or whatever it might be? But video reviews go a long way as well, as far as maybe putting it. Then you can put them on if you do get video reviews, you can put them on your website, your landing pages, and your. Not everybody watches those reviews, but those video testimonials, but they say a lot just having them on the page, and no matter what incentive you give, if they're not happy with your product, they're not giving you a video testimonial. So those are super real, and they're not questioned by the consumer looking at them, because anybody can write a written review, including like a lot of people think, oh, they could be fake reviews, but video reviews are harder to fake. You can see if they're not actors, that kind of thing. So
I think one of the things that if you're getting bad reviews, I think there's two things. The first thing is, one, you may not really realize how important reviews really are to the purchasing decisions. I think that's a number of years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I didn't pay attention to reviews. I didn't pay attention to reviews when I was looking at things. I didn't pay attention to reviews for my own companies at the time. Now it's become much more of a standard part of your purchasing. If you're doing business with somebody you've never heard of, it's the first thing you do. You're looking at the reviews. You type in financing solutions reviews, and you want to see what's going on. So it's really become a big part of the decision-making process. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And so therefore, for example, the travel site that fulfills all of our travel offers for marketingboost.com is called redeemvacations.com. And if you did the search for reviews there, you'll see thousands of reviews, we average 4.8, 4.6, almost 5-star, reviews, with hundreds of reviews, both video and written. And, it's when you're doing a high volume B2C, when you've got consumers that you're dealing with,
that's tough.
You're going to get, some negatives no matter what you do. But that's why I say you've got to be able to offset negatives with piles and piles of positives coming through, and then you're fine. And matter of fact, if you don't have some negatives and you're doing a ton of volume to consumers, then it's not real either. People expect to see some of each. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm really trying hard not to get because I want to be able to say to clients we have 5-star reviews. I don't want to be able to say to clients I have a 4.6 stars. I want to keep that 5.
sure,
So
sure.
it's important. So uh, all right, well, listen, I have one last question for you, and that is, what do you think the people that you've worked with that have really great marketing minds? What is it about them?
Staying relevant, staying constantly educating yourself. There is, things that worked last year don't necessarily work this year. Perfect example of that is Facebook ads used to be one of my bread and butter, marketing easy. Just spend the money on Facebook and the money would roll in. Put in $1, come out with 5. But nowadays, ever since iOS 14, iOS 15, in other words, Apple made some mega changes to how the privacy policies work and what Facebook can do with tracking and of anybody with an Apple device. And now nearly nobody's ads on Facebook are working anywhere near like they used to. So you've got to be able to pivot, turn, and find another solution. Learn how to add, TikTok or Instagram or what have you. So
Yeah.
it's a constantly changing world and a constantly A/B testing and constantly being willing to invest in marketing. I mean, if you're not marketing today, turning off the budget for advertising or marketing is like, it's guaranteeing the spigot's going to dry up.
Yeah, we had the same scenario when we first started our company 11 years ago. We were using Google paid for ads, and it was, for the first 6 months, it was unbelievable. It was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And we can ramp it up. We can shut it off when we're oversubscribed. When we have too many clients, and because we're providing money, so we have a limited amount of money that we can put out there. And then 6 months later, our competition got in the same area, and they got wind of it, and the prices went astronomical. It became not effective. And the key here is, one, are you measuring? Do you know what your cost of acquisition is for a client based on the channel that you're advertising in? And two, do you know what you're making off of those clients? Because you might be making, you might be closing a deal from a Facebook a prospect that came in. But are you making the same amount of money from that person that you made from a direct mail piece that you sent out?
Yep.
Right? You might find, wow, I make 3 times the amount of money from a direct mail piece than I do from a Facebook advertiser. So, you'd say, well, I'm converting a client, but is the revenue that you're making from them the same? So, it's all comes down to measuring. And so I think, that's the number one biggest thing. If you want to advance as a business owner, you got to be able to know your numbers that we talked about earlier. And part of that is, what's my cost of acquisition to get a client, and how much do I make off of them? And then what is the channel that I'm getting them from? And, you really start to dissect things, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. So as you mentioned earlier in that question, what do set apart the pros? And it is all of what you said. They really got their finger on the numbers, on the tracking, on the having the tracking pixels for every type of marketing strategy they're doing, and really doing everything in your power to know which vertical is working and by exactly how much, and which verticals are working where maybe they're not working, but you want to keep it going a little bit anyway, just to keep some of that volume coming through. But as you said, if you can't tell the difference between one marketing strategy and the other, then you're really flying in the dark. And the same with using the incentives. You've got to be able to test and measure and and play with it. And then again, they can be used for loyalty talking about back to my incentive products at marketingboost.com. They can be used for loyalty programs. Is another way to simply use it as a thank you, for doing business with us for the last year. We're going to go throw in this company, just another reason to get back in front of them, stay relevant, and keep them with you for another year or whatever, however your service or product might work. So it doesn't necessarily have to always be, will this work as the lure to call them in, but it can certainly work as, keep them with you as for loyalty. So many different ideas that can be played with.
Good. Well, it's all good stuff. It was a good podcast. I'd very much like to thank Marco Torres from marketingboost.com for coming on to today's podcast. If you like today's podcast, please feel free to share it with a friend and also subscribe on your favorite podcasting app. And of course, if you're looking for a line of credit for your business, please give us a call at 862-207-4118 or visit our website at fscreditline.com. That's again, FS is in Financing Solutions, creditline.com. Marco, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, how would they go about doing that?
Well, I promised you that I would have some special offers for your listeners. So if you go to marketingboost.com/podcast, you can test Marketing Boost for 30 days for only $1. So the normal membership price is $37 a month for unlimited access to all of the incentives that I've been discussing on this show. But you can get a test for 30 days for only $1 by going to marketingboost.com/podcast. And I also told you that I would be giving away some tickets to our live event in Orlando, Florida, coming up in January. We have a live event Thursday, January 27th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll be having a number of 7 different speakers going over everything there is to do as far as using incentives, marketing, Facebook group growth, and monetizing Facebook groups. We'll be discussing automation techniques and tools, all types of stuff. You can go to, I'm giving away free tickets for your audience to this event. There's a limited amount of free tickets, but you can go to marketingboosttalks.com/free tickets. marketingboosttalks.com/free tickets. And see if you're still there in time to pick up some of the limited amount of seats that are available free to that live event. And then again, free trial, marketingboost.com / not free, but $1, marketingboost.com / to get 30 days for $1. So thanks again for having me on your show, Stephen.
Yeah, it was great, Marco. Appreciate it. If our listeners are interested in getting any new business ideas, I tweet daily about lessons for business owners at S Halasnik, which is my name. So it's SHALASNIK. So I think today's podcast, the thing that we want to take away from this is, look at your marketing programs. Do you have incentives? Are the incentives that Marco was talking about today, would that help your business more than just discounting your product? And of course, you want to make sure that you're charging the right amount of money. So everybody have a fantastic day. And of course, everybody, where the New Year's can be coming around, I just want to wish everybody a happy New Year. I always look forward to New Year's because if you had a crappy year, you get a chance to start
Reset.
fresh. If you had a good year, you look back and you say thank you. And so to me, New Year's was always a special time of the year where you get another chance or you celebrate. Everybody have a fantastic day. It's great talking to you.